Well, hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining us for another conversation here on the Level Up Co podcast. We are still coming to you from hybrid, and we have a really special guest. So I'm actually going to be stepping out of this one. Taylor, how are you? You're going to be taking this one with the amazing Samm Blake.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with Samm Blake. She's a very talented photographer. I know that she has so much wisdom to share with you guys. One of the best things I think about listening to podcasts is that it's truly a window into the minds of others who have done what you are hoping to do. So that's what we're hoping to bring to you in this episode too.
Here at the Level Up Co., Kelly and I truly do believe that an elevated client experience from the very first touch point of that first email all the way through the delivery of your wedding films or those final galleries are all so important. And that's why Kelly and I both have been using and loving VidFlow for the last several years, and we recommend to all of our students and our audience members to use VidFlow as well. Delivery experience truly matters. The way your clients view their films for the very first time should be a magical moment. It needs to be a professional and branded experience, instead of basic file sharing like Dropbox or Google Drive, or even Vimeo or YouTube links. Through VidFlow, clients can stream their videos through smart TVs, streaming devices, and set-up boxes. Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, you name it. There are so many options for clients to watch and experience their films for the very first time on the big screen at home. And VidFlow is now offering photo delivery as well. They now support photo delivery with their new hybrid galleries, which is a major benefit for hybrid shooters and combined photo and video teams. You can now deliver your beautiful photo galleries alongside your video galleries in one place. Level up your delivery experience for 2026 and beyond with VidFlow. You can get started today by going to vidflow.co/thelevelupco. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Well, Samm, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited. You are our first guest as we're recording here in studio in person. So thank you for being the guinea pig.
Glad to be here.
Okay. Can you please, for those who are listening who are not familiar with your business, can you just introduce yourself and tell them who you are, what you do, where you're based, all those things?
Yeah. So my name's Samm Blake. I live in Brooklyn, New York, but I'm originally from Australia. I've been in New York for about 14 years now. I decided to move to America purely for career opportunities. I was a little restless back in Australia back in the day, and I had a summer in New York and fell in love, thought it was a good idea, made the move. But before that, I started my business in 2003. So this would be my 23rd-ish year of shooting weddings. And it's been a crazy roller coaster ever since then.
That's amazing. 23 years. So you've seen this industry through lots of different phases and seasons and ups and downs. Can you immediately pinpoint some things that are wildly different sitting here at 2026 and maybe they were in the 2000s?
Oh, good question. So when I started, it was film. Digital didn't even exist. Well, they were I remember my first digital camera was a floppy disk digital camera. I think I got it in about 99, but a floppy disk had 1.44 megabytes. I could get 12 photos on it. I shot my first wedding purely for money. I was in my final year of college, and somebody had contacted my photo school wanting a student photographer, and one of my professors asked me, he's like, "Do you want to do this? Their budget's $500." I'm like, yes, I want to do that. I made minus $5 on the job by the time I did the film, processed the film and all of that. But that's what started it off. So then obviously the digital thing, then I kind of got my digital camera in about 2006. And I was one of the very first photographers to give my negatives, sell my negatives on top of the package. Whereas a lot of photographers back then, they were treating it like film. Like, they're just not available. You have to buy reprints. And I was young at the time. I was like 23-ish or something, could see the way the market was changing and kind of jumped on that. And that was like one of the key things to my success early on. Like, I got really busy really quickly because I was making it accessible for people to have their files. So that's probably like the biggest shift now because, you know.
Yeah. That's not really a thing anymore. But that's cool. I love that you were willing to like adapt to the market and like the demands of what people were wanting and let go of it. I feel like so many people kind of like clutch to like what they want to be doing and they're not listening to like what's being asked of them like as a photographer. So I love that you leaned into that and that like helped kind of propel you.
Yeah, and I copped a lot of criticism for it too along the way because, like, I was kind of like the new photographer, young. All the established photographers were like late 30s at the time, and I definitely ruffled feathers. Uh, they didn't like me. It was like I felt like there was a lot of friction, but I could just see the shift happening, and it's like it's a slight different generation. I could just pick up on it. So yeah.
Did you start photography after you moved to New York or when you were still Australia?
I'm still in Australia.
Okay, so how did that look like relocating your business?
So I relocated twice now. So I started my business in Perth, Western Australia. I was like went kind of full time in 2007, and then in like 2011 I moved to Melbourne. And I was only in Melbourne for a year before I moved to New York. And when I came over, 2012, 2013, I had just been named one of the top 10 photographers in the world by American Photo. That kind of took care of me. And that's probably what gave me the confidence as well to jump in at the opportunity of coming over, is like planners were already wanting to work with me before I got here. So yeah, it was really nice. But it still took 2 years to kind of build up to get solid bookings here. Like, I would get one or two. Um, then it was easier for me to book work like in Europe where I had more of a name known than it was to like try to get in on the New York market at the time. It was just like a lot of travel for a few years to kind of cement myself in solid local bookings to New York, but I don't do that anymore now anyway. I barely shoot in New York.
Yeah, that's so cool. So looking into like 2026, where are most of your weddings happening? Are you across the world? Are you mostly domestic? Like, where's that thing?
This year's mostly domestic. I have one in Portugal, which I'm excited about. Oh, Mexico. So two. But I'm going to like Colorado this year. So there's a lot of that. Where else am I? Every year is so different. I can't even think where I am. I've got one in Florida, uh, Massachusetts. I always just try to book places that I've never been before. Like, I love shooting in a new venue. Like, I don't want to shoot in the same venue over and over again.
No, it's so much more artistically fulfilling to like walk into a fresh space with a fresh set of eyes and be able to create from scratch.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm always like excited when I get to go to a new state that I haven't been to before, or obviously a new country.
How many weddings are you shooting a year?
This year, 15, which I've been really, really intentional about keeping it at 15. It's obviously like if a really great wedding comes along, there's room in my calendar for that. And obviously I would want that. But it's generally the last minute bookings that are sometimes the most creative or most interesting sort of weddings creatively. So then you do want to do them. And then that's what kind of screws up the flow.
Okay, cool. So at your 15 weddings this year, what is your price range?
So I start at 40,000 now. And so most, multi-day weddings, so kind of sitting above that. But yeah, it's been a nice point to be at in the market.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so I love this story because you lost $5 on your first wedding, and now here you are starting at $40,000. That's just incredible. And obviously, you've had such a lucrative and successful career. Besides moving to the States and being named in the top photographers by that publication, like, are there any other like pivotal moments in your career that you can kind of pinpoint? Like, this is what helped me grow.
Yeah, actually, I'm talking about that in my talk, in my masterclass on Wednesday here at Hybrid. There's one wedding I photographed in 2011 that was like one of my defining kind of weddings that kind of changed a lot of things, which I'm actually linking that to like how I got that top 10 thing. And that wedding like opened up my destination, the international market. So that one was just a really cool fashion forward wedding. It was really creative. So that was kind of like the starting point of being more of an artist versus a photographer in my work as well, and kind of went on that journey. And then obviously recent weddings or recent work is I shot Selena Gomez's wedding last year, which was a wild ride and wonderful.
Can we talk about that? I'm just like so curious about what that experience was like. Like, how did that booking come about? Like, how was it like to shoot such a high profile wedding? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, what to tell? Obviously, there's an NDA, so I can't say too much. But apparently, I was picked out by them. Like, I think I was presented as an option by the planner, and they decided to go with me. So yeah, it was very. It was like really like confirming to me that like, oh, okay, my style can be in the luxury. I've already been in the luxury space obviously for a long time, but even like this other like, anyone in the world, they could hire any photographer in the world. Why did they pick me? And it kind of gave me more confidence in my own voice as an artist of like, I can play in this field or at this level, and my work can be celebrated, versus, there's a certain stereotype of ultra luxury wedding, uh, which I'm not, which it's all beautiful work, it's just like I have a different thing going on. And so it was really nice to see that be well received.
I love that. Actually, so we do hear from a lot of photographers that we coach that they're afraid that they're going to have to change their style or fundamentally like who they are as a photographer, as an artist, in order to grow. And so I love that your story affirms the fact that there are luxury clients willing to pay high price points at a variety of styles. Like because yeah, your style is not like the light, airy, like style me pretty vibe that was so big and popular and like really rose to the top. Like you're a bit like how do you describe your
Um, Good question. I come from a very much a social documentary background. Like I really think about the why of photography and look at weddings through like a social like, a wedding day is, there's ritual, uh there's tension, there's all these different elements of a wedding day, and like a group of people come together. And so I'm really fascinated by all those relationships and like the melting pot and the soft chaos of it all. And so it's very documentary. Uh but I obviously love a well designed wedding, don't we all? But I care more about the humans versus I call it the fluff. I like the fluff, but I'm more interested in the faces.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, you can decline based on your NDA, but I would kind of like to know. I'm sorry, I'm sure you've been asked so many times about this Selena Gomez wedding. It's just like so interesting, right? Because like I wasn't part of the process and I don't know what that looked like. Um, how did you prepare? Like, is that like a breach of NDA? Can we talk about like how you prepped? So, how did you prepare? Like, how far in advance was it booked? Like, how did you staff your team? How did you prepare your team? Like, can we get a glimpse into what that looked like on the front end?
Yeah, so I think I had about 6 months notice, I believe. But I knew about it for a nice amount of time to overthink everything. So there's a lot of overthinking and just like, I've been in a lot of other high pressure, high profile weddings in the past and like knew what obstacles I would potentially face. So I knew I wanted a obviously really strong team. And so I was very thoughtful about obviously who I brought on and what their talents were, and who, it's like, it's obviously going to be a really stressful day. So who's going to like do really well under the pressure? And it also was really about personal relationships with those people as well. And then I, wanted someone that can also like handle, like, can be in a room full of celebrities and be graceful with that, and not. We're very mindful of not having too big of a team, to be too many cameras, because like we were the only photographers there, so it was very sensitive to that too, of not overdoing it. So yeah, I made everyone sign NDAs with me before I brought them on as well, just to double protection. Um, these sorts of weddings, you don't find out anything until the day of. Like, we didn't even know where the wedding venue was, so there wasn't no scouting could be done, none of my usual preparation, but I just kind of knew whatever I was given, I'd be able to handle it on a need be basis, like in the moment kind of thing. So there was like basically not much preparation like that I would normally do, but there was like, I had thought of mood boards, like emergency go-tos for like posing ideas. In reality, it was like 5 minutes of posing, and then that was it. So, I just had to like pivot quickly, and but yeah, I just kind of had to keep reminding myself, it's like, okay, 23 years, I got this. I can do this. Muscle memory. I was like, all right, that's what's going to carry me through. And it did. And it did.
That's amazing. And I mean, it's such like, I'm sure it was great. Like I'm sure they paid well. I'm sure it was a great experience. But what like a feather in the cap to like, to your point, like in your style, like shoot such a high profile wedding and like walk away doing it with so much grace and like doing it so well. Like I think everyone was just so impressed with your work. Like it was absolutely gorgeous. I don't know. Like we were just like honored to like know who you are and like be kind of like spectators of that while you were doing that. So looking into like 2026, do you feel like having that experience like is kind of pushing you like on another trajectory upward?
Yeah, somewhat. I feel like it's given me more confidence to like step into. I feel like from that experience, it's really made this path forward clear of like what I do want and what I don't want. Because I think as entering the luxury market over the last, like in 2019, I was a little resistant to what the luxury market was, because I thought it was a lot of fluff, and I wasn't sure I could play or sit in that, or be, I thought I would have to conform and all of that. So there was a lot of resistance early on, and now I feel like all like the just reconfirmed to me that I can do what I want to do. So I'm excited about what is ahead, because I just feel like permission's been given, and like obviously like the mums respect me a little bit more now too, so that's nice.
I love that. So much good can like come out of something other than like direct like results, And so I'm glad that it's like having this trickle down effect.
So many of you listening are incredible filmmakers, but if you're stuck in the cycle of always editing with no time to actually work on your business, it can really stunt your growth. Taylor and I see it all the time. A growing backlog, late nights behind the computer, and no space to focus on booking, marketing, or scaling. That's exactly why we're so excited to partner with Wanderlust. Wanderlust offers professional video editing services for filmmakers, including highlight films, feature films, documentary edits, ceremony and speech edits, elopements, and even social media teasers. And the best part is they match your style, so your films still feel like your artistry. Whether you edit in Final Cut, Premiere Pro, or DaVinci Resolve, they deliver a seamless outcome no matter which platform you use. Outsourcing your edits means more time working on your branding, making it to that networking event, and carving out time for education to actually grow your business instead of being buried in footage. Head over to wanderlust-videos.com to learn about their amazing services. And as a listener, you can get $100 off your first project with Wanderlust of $200 or more with the code LEVELUP100. If your backlog is keeping you from working on your business, Wanderlust is your solution.
I would love to know, for maybe like a photographer who's listening, a filmmaker who's listening, who's in year 3, 4, 5 of their business, and they're like, I want to shoot like my generation, Selena Gomez wedding. Like, I want to get to this point in my career where I am charging really high prices. I'm shooting these amazing weddings. I'm feeling so artistically fulfilled because like I have all these incredible opportunities. Like, do you have any advice for them on what they should maybe do here in 2026, looking into next year?
I think the biggest thing is it's a long journey, but it's little wins every year. So not to get frustrated with the process. It's like every year you pick up new skills, you get the new exciting client, and it's all building your like toolkit for a great big wedding one day. So I think it's just like, but really like identifying what you're about and like staying true to that and not trying to conform to the industry. So spending these like fundamental years really thinking about your why and your real motivations and I do a lot of mentoring and like one of the biggest things I see is people's portfolios that they're putting together to attract this so-called idea of luxury clients, and it's now pretty vanilla out there. And I say that like everyone's doing a lot of things to blend in and not stand out. So if you can get early on figure out what's your standout points, that's what it's all about.
I've never understood why people want to blend in. Like, if you want to be booked, wouldn't standing out make more sense?
100%. And I think people like I talk a lot about curation, and my masterclass here is on curation. It's the hardest work, and it's easy to kind of see what's working on Instagram and what photographers that are ahead in the career are doing, and you're like, oh, I can do that. That will get me there. But it's actually not what's probably going to get you there, because that's somebody else's journey, and it's probably not going to work for you in the same way. And yeah, like you have to figure it out for yourself, but then you're not sure if it's going to work. And all these things, there's a lot of hesitation, there's a lot of nervousness. And there's a lot of experimentation to find yourself and a unique point of view, because it's easy to be inspired by other people, but to come up with something more unique, that's really challenging and really tough. And to sit with the ability to sit with your own work and figure out what you actually like, not what the industry likes or what Instagram likes. And like the difference between what you personally like and what Instagram likes are going to give you, they're two different things. But how much Instagram likes are going to influence, and you have to fight that influence. Like some of my best photos that have done really well on Instagram, I'm like, meh, not my best work. It was popular for some reason, and that's a challenge to like to turn your back on those photos because they do perform well. But like,
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So curation, like that's something we talk a lot about with our students too. Like, I don't know if you've heard the quote about like design, like the design isn't how much you could add, it's how much you could take away without losing the impact, right? Like, I think that's such a great quote and something to remember where leaning into like less is more can actually create bigger impact. What is your perspective on curation? Like, why is it important? And like, what is like a process that somebody else can do to curate down to a point where they do feel like the images or even the video clips, if they're that they're showcasing, feel aligned with like who they are as the artist and the kinds of ways they want to trust?
yeah. So there's one of the biggest things I feel is what makes this all so hard, and I'll answer the question, is there's just no infrastructure to make this easy. So it's very, very challenging. You have to come up with your own like system. So, say a big crazy wedding is 10,000 plus photos, right? You've then got to get that down to maybe 2,000 or 1,500, whatever's the correct amount that we should be sending out. But then from that, we've got to get like what makes it to our portfolio or Instagram. That's maybe like 5%. And like spending the time to actually identify what those images should be So to me, it's just a process of elimination. It's actually doing multiple and multiple rounds. You just have to have the attention for it when you're busy doing everything else. But I think so many people don't understand how important curation is, because it's ultimately going to be the thing that sets you apart in the industry. It's what helps you level up price wise and all the things that we want, right? But I think people get so stuck on being a film photographer, and that's the answer, or uh, networking, going to engage, but if the portfolio is not there, like all that hard work, you could spend so much time on Instagram, but if the portfolio or the curation's not there to back you up, it's like wasted. So I always like to challenge people to like pick out 100 photos from a wedding, then get down to 50, then 20, and then 10. And can you tell a wedding in 10 images? Because then you also have to sit with your work and work out where the weaknesses are and where the strengths are in the work, and like kind of identify, where you need to step up. And that's obviously challenging to sit with.
I don't think most people do that. I think people just like approach each wedding day like turn and burn, and they're not really putting much thought into it. I feel like that's kind of like the secret sauce.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So like if you say collect up 100, trying to build your like a best of gallery, 100 images, like set a limit, and then it's all couple portraits. Like, what is that saying? It's like, okay, like you might need to get better at flash at nighttime, or you might need to get better at your ceremony coverage. It will kind of, if there's like a portion of the day that's like underrepresented in the gallery, that's like your biggest sign that that's something you should be working on, and go in with the intention of the next wedding to do better. Like why is ceremony coverage not as good? Or why is reception coverage not as good? Is like, do you actually have a little bit of a fear of approaching people at receptions? Like having conversations with guests all the time, because that's part of the chemistry of then getting pictures of people and all of that. So I see it as this like dance of interacting. But that's just because I'm just not, there's not even an ulterior motive. It's just like, okay, I'm at this wedding, like I'm experiencing it too. Like I will have a conversation with someone about something, but it's all kind of goes into it as well. Whereas people that, I'll say this, like people that like to sit on an 85 and sit in the corner and shoot, it's like, maybe they put on a 24 mil, and you now have to like put yourself right up in there, and you have to like be in the middle of the dance floor and be embraced by the crowd or the sweat or the BO.
The sticky floor.
Yeah. So yeah, I again, and going back to like, is your reception coverage lacking because you're not confident with the flash or off-camera flash or all of that sort of thing. So
Yeah, it's like constant diagnostics. It's like, that's really smart. That's such an intentional way to approach building your portfolio, building your skill set, finding your weak points and strengthening those. And then fast forward 20 years and you're where Samm Blake is sitting, and here you are shooting amazing weddings. I think that's like such a great takeaway. It's great to have like those reflective exercises. I don't think people get to do that. So I love it.
yeah, I think it's a really good thing to like challenge yourself with every single wedding, that you have to pick out the best 100 images. Like if you had to put these online today, what would they be? And then having that reflection, you're like, oh yeah, all right, that's the next project. I always like to give myself mini projects at weddings. Like sometimes it's a technical aspect that I want to play around with. I always play an experiment at weddings. Like I've heard advice in the past being like, you should never play at a wedding, you should never experiment. And I'm like, 100% experiment. I obviously choose the time and place, but like reception, once like the formal stuff's been done, that's like the best time to play, because like the greatest photos come from an element of risk as well. When we're just doing the same old photo that we know works, it's kind of expected and boring. So when there's took risk to get, it's actually far more interesting. Like I just delivered previews from a wedding. I delivered them this morning from a wedding I did last weekend, and my flash was misfiring. during the first dance, and the photos of it, Miss Phone, are actually the best shots. Like, there's a mood to it. I was relying on this spotlight that was just illuminating the bride, and they're like so much better than like how I would normally have shot it.
I love a happy accident. That's so fun.
Yeah, I'm all about happy accidents.
Yeah, how cool. Okay. When it comes to taking risks in your work, can you like pinpoint a couple different times, like over the last couple of years, where the risk totally paid off?
So film kind of, I feel I get that from film, and that's like kind of keeps me on my toes and lose much sleep pondering ideas to do with film. Uh, I'm trying to like put my second photographers up front in the ceremony, because I know the things that like that photo of the bride coming down, it's a very important photo to get and nail, but I'm more fascinated with what's going on before the bride comes down, and I know I miss out on a lot of that. So I'm trying to switch it. I know it depends on the wedding, the lighting, the timeline. There's so many elements to make that decision if this is the right wedding to do that or not. But yeah, I have this little quote that like nothing good happens in the safe zone, or to take a great reward takes great risk. So I have to like give myself these little pep talks on a wedding day, like, all right, don't play it safe now. Let's do something interesting. So for exact examples, I'm trying to think. To me, it just seems like film is the more riskier thing, but it's not that risky ultimately, you know?
Especially due to shoot. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I'm in the video world, right? So like for us, like we're having continuous coverage, so like it's a little bit less stressful during some of these moments. But the risk for us comes when it's like somebody steps in front of our camera that's like role of ceremony. So it's like the risk is, do I wait for this person to move out of the way, or am I gonna risk trying to like find a new spot to like plant the camera and like have the camera jostling around, maybe the toast ends. Like we're kind of calculating like different risks on our end, but I love. Do you incorporate drone into your work?
I do, and I pick when that feels appropriate.
Yeah. Are you upselling that, or is that just like a tool at your disposal?
Yeah, I don't upsell anything. It's all my discretion. Like same with like film, my discretion. Like I will pick the best tool for the moment. And some weddings are going to be more film, and some weddings are going to be more digital. If it's a nighttime wedding with a tight timeline, probably going to be more digital. Selena's wedding, far more digital because of so many challenges that we were faced with, you know. So, and you know, like speed of deliverables and all of those things with a celebrity wedding. So yeah, I don't promise anything or I don't upsell anything. It's just like a flat fee, and I'm an artist and I make artistic decisions.
I love that. That's so fun. Okay, I have one last question. So you're represented by the wedding artist. I would love to hear like how that came about, how long you've been with them, and like what that process is like, kind of working with. Was it this agency?
Yeah, it's an agency. Yeah, yeah. So I've been with Lisa now for 11 years, and we actually met because I used to run an agency in Australia, and so we kind of met up as agent to agent. But I was wanting to shut mine down because I started it when I moved over to America, and I have like, you know, a huge network in Australia that I could like help. Uh, you know, like it was basically all the second shooters that worked with me over the years. So to kind of create a business, but I just found it too challenging running my own business and being in another country, different time zones, all of that stuff. So that's how me and Lisa first got talking. And I'm like such a business nerd. Like I didn't actually need help with that stuff. Like people know me for how nerdy I am when it comes to business stuff. Like I'm tick a lot of boxes. So that to me wasn't necessarily a thing I needed help with. So like, but I know these jobs are so lonely, you know, like we just have ourselves to talk with, or particularly some of the pain points that I was dealing with 10 years ago. Like actually my friends weren't going through some of those things. So it wasn't having to someone that had the experience of talking to. So I did a bunch of celebrity weddings in 2015 that were very challenging, and I did them by myself. Like before I was part of a agency, and that's where I really realized I wanted help with contract negotiations and just having a middleman or middle lady to help navigate that, because contracts is scary, to like stand up for yourself and advocate for what you want and what's fair. So Lisa gets that on now, and I love it.
That's really nice. It's kind of cool too, like having that middle lady, because you don't have to be like the bad guy. Places just like how my agent like friends things. So it kind of keeps you like in that pure artist position of image.
Yeah, and it's actually just created a lot of space of, now I can put more of my energy into my creativity versus being drained from the admin side of the business. Like I feel like, particularly in the last 5 years, it's created a lot of freedom to like really refine my craft and my artistic point of view and all of that. And also having someone kind of, you're doing good, like it's time to like maybe a price increase, you're getting book solid, all that sort of like, someone to like champion you. And so there is a lot of conversation now about agencies popping up, and I just think photographers want support. It's a lonely business, and like just have someone to bounce ideas off, and not to do it alone. And I think it's a valuable thing.
Someone in your corner advocating. Yeah, so true. Well, Sam, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much. If somebody's listening to this and hasn't followed you on Instagram already, where can they find you?
They can find me at Samm Blake. It's Sam with 2 M's. And that's where I exist on all the internet things, is just under that name.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sam. This is so much fun.
Thank you for having me. It was a great conversation. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.